So today I'm going to talk a little bit about separation anxiety, which is an issue that a lot of people combat and deal with to some extent in their home with their dog. And so separation anxiety can be a pretty complex issue to figure out how to manage. So it's really important that if your dog is exhibiting signs of separation anxiety, meaning that they do destructive behavior, howling, barking, for excessive periods of time, or destroying things, or hurting themselves sometimes, that's pretty severe. When they're left alone, then I would highly recommend that you get a trainer to come into your home that has experience with separation anxiety so that you can start off properly. So most people will experience some level of separation anxiety in their dog when they leave and the dog barks for a while. And it's pretty common that the dog's gonna bark for a little bit, but anything over 20, 30 minutes is usually a sign that you have a dog that has some anxiety when they're being left alone. There are some general tips that we would recommend to people that anybody can start to do to either try and help the separation anxiety and lessen it, or to try to avoid it from the beginning. Or things you can start today if you have separation anxiety in your dog are when you leave the house, don't kiss and hug, don't say I'll be back later, don't really talk to them, don't make a big deal about your leaving. A lot of times dogs will pick up on cues, like when you go to get your keys, and a lot of people do things in the same pattern. So they go to get their purse, then they get their keys, then they put their shoes on, then they leave. So they start to realize, like, when you pick up your purse, now my anxiety is gonna start to increase because it predicts these other things happening. So if you do have a dog with separation anxiety, try to analyze your routine and see if you can change it up. So make sure, put your purse and your keys in a different area and grab them, 20 minutes before you're gonna leave. And then you're walking around the house for a while, you're doing other things, and your dog's gonna kind of be thrown off, and just not have it be so routine and so many predictors that increase the level of anxiety. You can also leave music on, or the TV on, or white noise on to a small, calm level. Dogs have great hearing, much better than ours, so it doesn't need to be loud, especially if you're not there. But many times dogs will panic because the house goes from being hustle and bustle and the TV's on and people are in and out and everybody's talking and somebody's playing music, and then all of a sudden the home's very, very silent, and then they can hear all these outside noises and they start to panic. Another thing that you can do to combat separation anxiety is when you come home, ignore the dog. Set your timer on your phone for 5 minutes and do not talk to the dog, look at the dog, or touch the dog for about 5 minutes, because they're gonna be very anxious and excited that you're there. But that also just builds anxiety and makes the fact that you're home very rewarding. And the last piece of advice I have for separation anxiety is good old-fashioned exercise. A tired dog is gonna sleep. And so a tired dog tends to be less destructive, bark less. Tired dogs just tend to sleep more and do a lot less things that we don't like. So that exercise is key. So I hope you found this helpful.